It's a continent with some of the fastest growing economies and also some of the biggest challenges. What's in store for Africa in 2018? Hello, I'm Anand Naidu and this is The Heat. According to the United Nations, Africa is the fastest growing continent in terms of population and has some of the fastest growing economies in the world. It also has its share of political turmoil, exemplified by Robert Mugabe's departure as the president of Zimbabwe after 37 years in office. We have reporters across the continent. We begin in Zimbabwe with CGTN's Farai Mokutuya.
There's renewed hope here in Zimbabwe following the dramatic political events in November last year following a military intervention. New President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who replaced former ousted leader Robert Mugabe, has vowed to fix the economy, create jobs, cut spending and restore investor confidence. He's already begun by reversing a controversial law that had discouraged foreign investments. Across the border in South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa has been elected head of the ruling ANC and is likely to become the country's leader in 2019. There's been speculation that Jacob Zuma may be recalled, but Ramaphosa has said he does not wish to humiliate the president. He has said he will confront corruption and deal with the key land issue in a manner that doesn't disrupt the economy. After Ramaphosa was elected head of the ANC, the South African rand surged to a 2-year high, signaling bright prospects for the region's biggest economy. Well, now for developments in West and Central Africa, we turn to CGTN's Deji Badmus in Lagos, Nigeria.
Thanks, Farah. You could call this the year of presidential elections in West and Central Africa, and you won't be wrong. In Mali, incumbent President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta is running for re-election as his 84-year-old Paul Biya, who will be standing for his 8th term this year as president of Cameroon. Sierra Leone will be electing a new president in a few weeks after incumbent Ernest Bai Koroma has completed his 2 terms in office. In the DRC, President Joseph Kabila remains in power after his maximum 2 terms, flouting constitutional term limits. Elections have been scheduled there for December this year, but with the DRC, things can change without warning. War-torn South Sudan is another country to watch. Despite the civil war, President Salva Kiir is expected to hold a presidential election this year. In Nigeria, elections are scheduled for February 2019. Security should be the big issue in the campaign. Despite President Muhammadu Buhari's claims that Boko Haram had largely been beaten, the extremist group has stepped up attacks on military convoys and towns. Let's now turn to CGTN's Adel El Marouki for what to expect in Northern Africa.
North African countries entered the new year facing more security threats than they did in 2017. Many analysts say that the success of war against ISIL in Iraq and Syria has driven the group to seek a foothold in Libya. And as division continues in the troubled country, many parts of Libya remain lawless, threatening both the North African and sub-Saharan regions. And the country may continue to be a vital connector for extremist groups from Nigeria to Somalia. Insurgency in Egypt's North Sinai remain a big threat for the country, while Tunisia has been seeing political unrest, which means there's a lot on the national level for each country, which may distract the efforts for combating terrorism in the region. There are some encouraging news with regards to the issue of illegal migrants. Security in the Mediterranean has been significantly stepped up, and North African countries have managed to decrease the flow of illegal migrants to Europe in 2017. The trend is expected to continue this year with more promises for development. Adel Mahroui, CGTN, Cairo.